Henry the Green Engine. Coal. I suffer dreadfully and no one cares. Rubbish, Henry, said James. You don't work hard enough. Henry was bigger than James, but smaller than Gordon. Sometimes he could pull trees fine, but other times he had no strength at all. The Fat Controller spoke to him. You are too expensive, Henry. You have had lots of new parts and new paint too, but they've done you no good. If we can't mend you, we will have to get another engine instead of you to do the work. This made Henry, his driver, and his fireman very sad. The Fat Controller was waiting when Henry came to the station. He had taken off his hat and suit and put on overalls. He climbed up to his footplate and Henry started. Henry is a bad steamer, said the fireman. I blew up his fire, but it doesn't last long and it doesn't give enough heat. Henry tried his hardest, but it was no use. He had not enough steam and they stopped outside Edward Station. Oh dear, he said. I shall have to go away. Edward took charge of the train. Henry stayed behind. What do you think is wrong, driver? The fireman mopped his face. Excuse me, sir, he said, but the coal is wrong. We've had a poor lot lately, and today it's worse. The other engines have big fireboxes they can manage, but Henry has a small one, and it can't make the heat. With Welsh coal, he could. It's expensive, said the Fat Controller, but Henry deserves a fair chance. James shall go and fetch some. When the Welsh coal arrived, Henry's driver and fireman were excited. Now we'll show them, Henry, old fellow. They carefully oiled his joints and polished his brass till it shone like gold. His fire had already been lit, so the fireman made it carefully. He put large lumps of coal like a wall around the outside. Then he carved the middle glowing part with smaller lumps. You're spoiling my fire, said Henry. Wait and see, said his driver and fireman. We'll have a roaring fire just when we want it. He was right. When Henry reached the platform, the water was boiling nicely, and he had to let off steam to show how happy he was. He made so much noise the Fat Controller came out of his office to see what was the matter. How are you, Henry? He said. Beep, beep, said Henry. I feel fine. Have you a good fire, driver? Never better. He has plenty of steam, said the driver. No record-breaking, said the Fat Controller, smiling. His joints might break. He won't need pushing, sir. I'll have to hold him back. Henry had a lovely time. He had never felt so well in his life. He wanted to go faster, but his driver wouldn't let him. Steady, old fellow, he said. There's plenty of time. They arrived early at the station. Where have you been, lazybones? He asked Thomas. Oh, I don't have time to bother with little old engines like you. I must be off. Goodbye. Whoosh, said Thomas to Annie and Clarabelle as Henry disappeared. Have you ever seen anything like it? Both Annie and Clarabelle agreed that they never had.